welcome back to another Netflix show review. So I'm reviewing, well, I was gonna say season 2 of Ricky Gervais's Afterlife, but frankly, I never really reviewed season 1 either. I mentioned it in one of my favorites videos and kind of gave like the Cliff Notes version and said I would come back and review it and then never did. So I guess I'll just do both while I'm at it. So basically, the premise of this show, apologies in advance if I'm giving spoilers, but I mean, literally within 30 seconds of the show, you're going to learn the big spoiler here. Ricky's character, Tony, his wife died of cancer and made all of these tapes for him that she'd recorded, basically kind of like a how-to guide for life for him to how to function in the world after she's gone. Little messages for him, little reminders, big and small, which sounds completely depressing, and it is, but it's also sweet and endearing too at the same time. As well as all of just these home videos in general that he has of her. He's still grieving, and he obsessively watches them day in, day out, because it's the closest thing he has to her still being there. And I mean, that's really sad, but I get that. I 100% get that. He's just lost and depressed and upset with life and doesn't want to be there anymore. Frankly, he is all sorts of suicidal, and I think, like, within the first minutes of the first episode, he's already trying to off himself, and then at the last minute, doesn't. Mostly just because of his dog. If it weren't for his dog, he'd be gone, and there'd be no show. So, thank God for the dog, and I love just how beloved this dog is across the fandom. Just saying, to the point where, upon the second season's premiere, Ricky was tweeting out that, yes, the dog is back, and the show even premieres on her real-life birthday. So it's like, oh my god, I love that I'm not the only one who is, like, fangirling over this dog. Apparently everybody does, so, I mean, she's just, like, the best little German Shepherd girl ever. So, I know, totally small dice in the big picture of what this show is, but everybody loves the dog. So, regardless, he decides, I guess I'm gonna live then, but with the constant thought in the back of his mind that if things become too much, he'll just kill himself. And again, that is a really depressing premise for a show, but it is what it is. And his way of dealing with his grief is to just take it out on literally everyone else around him. If he's miserable, he's gonna make sure everyone else is miserable. He basically has zero filter for anything. He speaks his mind, and it is all sorts of rude and fucked up. I mean, that is putting it mildly. There is no words to describe the kinds of things that come out of his mouth. And he just comes off as the biggest asshole on the face of the planet, and you want to hate him. But at the same time, you know what he's going through, you get that he's grieving, you know that this probably isn't who this guy really is. The little glimpses of what his life was before, I mean, it's a glimmer that, yeah, this isn't who this guy has always been. This has only been since his wife died that he has turned into this. And he even describes it, I believe, to his boss, that his being a dick to everybody is basically like a superpower. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, no consequences, because if it does become too much, he has his way out. Which is really messed up. Don't do that, people. Just don't do that. There's pretty much a trigger warning on every single episode. I know the first time I watched season 1 was closer back to when it first came out, and I remember saying at the time that, god damn, it is a good thing I was in a fairly solid state of mind watching it, because even in a pretty good place mentally watching it. I came away from it feeling depressed as fuck and borderline suicidal. So I can only imagine if I had actually felt suicidal going into it. Holy crap, no wonder they have the trigger warning. But weirdly, the second time through rewatching season 1, maybe it's because I knew what happened going in that it didn't have the same effect. But the first time around, wow, it hit like a ton of bricks. But it basically follows him around and how he takes it out on everyone except for a chosen few that he meets along the way that he decides they were kind to him. Fine, I'll spare them. I'll spare these few people because I like them and they were kind to me when I needed it. They're okay. They're alright. Even though they're usually people that you wouldn't expect somebody to go out of their way for. Like a kleptomaniac drug dealer. Or a prostitute. Or it's just like, what? But no, it is a thing. And he makes some bad choices. He makes some very, very bad choices along the way before he kind of hits his rock bottom. And he starts trying to, like, atone for his sins, essentially, and starts trying to be nice to people, and that was kind of where season 1 left off, was him starting to try to turn over a new leaf, although who knows if just too much damage has been done, what are the ramifications of what he's already done. It left it off in, like, a place where if there had only been one season, I suppose you could end a show like that, but it also left the door open for a potential for a second season. When I first watched it, I didn't know that there was going to be another one. I just thought that was it, and was kind of miffed, thinking, and that's how it ends? That's how it fucking ends? So finding out there was a season 2, I was like, oh, thank God we get more answers. Okay, good. We get to see what happens next, although I kind of couldn't really imagine going in. Where is it gonna go from here? Well, where it went from there was him trying to be sober and him continuing to try the kindness approach towards people. It followed him through a lot more emotional depth this season. There's a lot more teary moments. I think he's finally letting himself be real a lot more. There's a lot of stuff that happens here, but I find that he's a far more endearing character now that he's trying to be nice to people than when he was just being a douche, which, yeah, fucking shocker, he's nice and now he's more likable, right? Right. But, still, that's not to say he has an easy time of things, because he does not. Oh no, he does not by any means have an easy time. If anything, he might be having a harder time this season because he's trying to be nice and stuff is still happening left and right to him. He's still grieving. He's still not over it. He still has all the same issues and then some. And new things that have cropped up this season that weren't last season, and more people to grieve, and just, it's all bad for him. One spoiler is that, yeah, he is not able to stay sober, and I cannot say as I blame the poor dude. I don't think much of anyone in his position would have actually been able to stay on the wagon through all of that while trying to be sober and trying to live a better life despite everything. It just, something's gotta give somewhere, something's gonna break, and for him, that's where he breaks. But the fact that he didn't sacrifice the trying kindness approach, even with all of the other stuff still going on and more stuff going on that wasn't going on before, I respect that. I respect that they didn't have him just resort back to being a douche. It's like he's going through the 7 stages of grief, and we've seen anger, and we've seen sadness. There's a whole bunch of other ones that he has to go through, too. Are we gonna get a season for each of these? Because, frankly, I'd be down for it if we are. But, who knows? I know that Ricky Gervais was saying in an interview that this is the first time he's actually considered letting one of his series go to a third season, because generally he does 2 seasons, a Christmas special, and it's done. I don't know if it's because it's a Netflix original that this is different for him, or if he's just more emotionally invested in this one, or what the deal is. I feel like there's a lot more of himself in this character than there are in his other characters. I mean, there's always elements of himself in his characters, but I feel like this one is possibly the closest to him, to where even as an outsider looking in, I see a lot of parallels, but could just be me, could just be coincidence, but I don't know. I like it. I am eager to see where it continues to go in future seasons, but as of right here, it's just like, it's a very emotional show. Fair warning. There's a lot of minutes that may make you cry in it. There was a lot of them in this season that probably should have for me that didn't quite. They came close. There was some towards the end that did. One particular breakdown of his definitely did bring some tears. But yeah, it's a very good show. It's a heavy show, but it's a good show. So I would definitely recommend it if you like drama, if you like British shows, if you like things that deal with darker, heavier topics than a lot of the fluffier stuff. I think it's good for that. And this ticks all of the boxes for me. And there is still comedic moments in it, so another check for me. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I don't feel comfortable giving this a number rating, especially because the show is not completed yet. There are certain shows where I feel just fine giving a number rating each season. This show isn't one of those. I don't feel like I can really grade it that way, because I feel like it would somehow take something away from the show to do that. But what I can say is that I would strongly, strongly recommend it if any or all of those check marks, they sound like things that you would like to watch. It's a very, very good option for you. So, anyways, that's about it for me for this one. So, as usual, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe, hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload, leave comments down below, make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my Etsy, everything and more, it's all down below. If you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. Anyway, guys, till next time, bye-bye.